right, everybody, welcome to our Thanks-tacular Thanksgiving special episode. We've got some very important stuff to do, but first, a word from our sponsor through me. I'm going to talk as though our sponsor has shoved its hand right up my ass and is using me like a hand puppet. Whose hand is up my ass, you might be saying? Audible.com. That's who. Yes, its eerie tentacle is firmly lodged in my butt and forcing my mouth to speak these words. Audible is the number one home for audio entertainment, especially if you, like me, have just given up on trying to get away from Amazon and accepted that the world is ruined. And although Amazon and Jeff Bezos are horrible, launching Katy Perry into space, though a waste of money that could have gone to something of more value, not actively harmful. And, when your standard is not actively harmful, audible.com is your source for audiobooks. I, by way of host endorsement, personal anecdote about how much Audible is great, I listened to an audiobook on it, and it was great. And I'm the host of this, so that's how you know it's actually true. See what I'm saying? I'm an individual saying a thing, telling you that I did a thing, which is listen to a book on Audible. So you can trust that, because why wouldn't you? We kind of have a relationship, me and you, since this is a podcast. So, this isn't like, I don't know, Johnny Carson telling you on the Tonight Show, the Late Show, whichever the show he was on, that was a PM-oriented endeavor. Not like him telling you something, like he obviously doesn't do whatever he advertises, but I obviously do whatever I do. Now, you might be thinking to yourself that you don't need Audible and that your life is completely full without it. And that's understandable. But, it's my job to refute that idea. So don't be a fucking fool and get Audible. You can get, I don't know, like a free third of an audiobook, basically. It lets you get the middle third of an audiobook if you go to audible.com and use my offer code, which is, this is going to sound a little weird, but my offer code is you go on to Google and you type in Audible promo code Reddit and then find a code there. And whatever code you type in, that's my code for Audible. And we'll get you all the access to entertainment that you want. Audible. Build it, beautiful. Okay, so today, for this Thanksgiving special, I received a beautiful gift of an article from the New York Times. That's right. You think you're better than us, New York Times. And it's called 61 Hot Takes to Fight About at Thanksgiving. Who's cooking and who's cooked? Using that young people slang. And basically, we've got 61 hot takes about Thanksgiving. Now, what is a hot take? You know what I mean? I don't think a hot take is something that's completely understandable, right? A hot take should be something that you're like, it's kind of unreasonable. I'm trying to think of, I feel like I've had many lukewarm takes on this show, but I don't feel like my takes are hot takes. Maybe it's like trying to be cool. If you're trying to be cool and aloof or something, it's not going to succeed because you can't try to be cool. You just have to be cool. And maybe for a take to be a hot take, you have to think it's perfectly reasonable. Everyone else is like, that's insane. Right? So, I mean, I assume these are going to be wild and crazy kids as far as the takes, but I don't know. But also I thought it was important to talk about this because it's from the New York Times. And the New York Times, I am a little bit tired of the liberal media slandering our president all the time. saying things that he said and, printing them as he said them. I mean, I think we can all see the problem with that. But also, I wonder, I'm like, I bet if you live in New York City, Thanksgiving is kind of a different proposition, right? It's got to be different in some way. And I don't know. It feels like Thanksgiving feels like a Midwest. The Midwest owns it. You know what I mean? There's probably snow in the Midwest by now. And like, it feels like very simple and down home as opposed to cosmopolitan in my mind. So I'm a little bit like in the mindset of wresting away control of Thanksgiving to the New York Times. You know what I mean? They're like, we own Thanksgiving. And I'm like, no, you don't. So here we go. The first one is from Becky Hughes. Now, several of these are from repeats people. I think Andy Baragani is in here multiple times. There are a couple people who I think make repeat performances, but I'm not sure. Becky Hughes' hot take is invite someone you don't like. Invite everyone and anyone. Invite your ex, invite your high school bully, invite that guy from the bar last week. Let's keep things interesting. No. You know what? I don't think you have to invite someone you don't like to keep things interesting. I think everybody has like a chaos friend. You know what I mean? Somebody who's a little bit of a loose cannon, who would be like the last person you would call for something really important, but also keeps it interesting. You don't hate them. You know what I mean? I'm not inviting an ex to Thanksgiving. That's a crazy idea. I mean, that's dumb. Also, would you even go? Like, if I got invited by an ex to Thanksgiving, I'd be like, no. No thanks. You know what I mean? Is it just like, I don't know how that keeps it interesting. I think the way you keep it interesting is you invite some fucking weirdo who you met at, I don't know, go to a poetry open mic and invite some fucking weirdo. You know what I mean? Invite someone who's in town for the circus. Those famous Thanksgiving circuses that they have all the time. Andy Baragani says, not everyone at Thanksgiving is created equal. The host runs the show, the kitchen helpers get promoted to co-hosts, and everyone else is just a guest. If you're in that last category, your only job is to be useful. Bring a great bottle, tell a great story, keep the energy up. Showing up with nothing but silence is worse than forgetting dessert. So I guess it's like, don't just sit there and be a lump if you're invited to Thanksgiving. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Sometimes I'm like, just stay out of the way. You know what I mean? Sometimes I feel that's the best thing you can do. Don't bother someone. But it probably is a good idea to bring a story. You know what I mean? Or print out these hot takes and you could actually talk about them at Thanksgiving. Please print them out, though. That's going to be Pete's number one hot take. Print this out and put them on little cards instead of just bringing your phone with this open to a page. That's dumb. That's a low effort, low energy. You're not keeping the energy up, as Andy Baragani said. You're bringing it down. Eric Kim says, don't come out of the closet on Thanksgiving. Wait until Christmas or winter break. I mean, this is a little tough for me because A, I haven't had to do that, but B, my family wouldn't be one that's particularly concerned with it. You know what I mean? It wouldn't be like a thing. So I can't really imagine doing it at Thanksgiving or someone doing it in my home on Thanksgiving because I feel like there would be no reason to. You know what I mean? Like it would have already come out more organically at some other time. I kind of agree with Eric on that one, though. I don't know if that's a hot take because I feel like doing that on Thanksgiving, it's like, let's make it something else. Like, if you're getting divorced, you don't need to announce that on Thanksgiving. You know what I mean? Maybe it's like Thanksgiving's not the time for a personal life announcement unless it's relevant to what's going on, which is like, I invited my ex to Thanksgiving because I've lost my mind. And it's like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. But yeah, I just don't think it's the time to be like, I lost my job yesterday. You know what I mean? It's probably on your mind, but you know, I just I'll go down. Announcements go down a little easier as Thanksgiving leftovers. You know what you really do? I think the time to come out of the closet is in the car on the way to the airport. Someone's dropping you off and you're like, all right, this is the time. Because then it's like, okay, well, we could talk about it a little bit, but we have a limited time window to talk about it. And, then the trip is over. So it's like, well, I did it in person, but it wasn't like hanging over the day, if that's how it was going to be received. Anna Martin, your cousin's new girlfriend is your ally. Getting the whole family together can be stressful. Find the guest who knows the least about the dynamics and politics and drama of the people gathered around the table and get her on your side, quick. You'll need her support when things go down by dessert. This is like, okay, this is a different Thanksgiving than what I'm used to, which it sounds like a lot of people have a Thanksgiving where there's like 15 people there. And the Thanksgivings I've been to have maxed out at like, I don't know, 7 or something like that. So it's like, there's not like a lot of unknown quantities there or something like that. But it just sounds to me like, if you're trying to recruit allies, like Thanksgiving is an episode of Survivor, and you're trying to not be eliminated from the adult table, maybe you're the drama. You know what I mean? Maybe it's you that's the problem. If you're going into it with a mercenary mindset, you'll probably end up in a mercenary situation. Just a thought. Luke Fortney. Everyone should wear name tags, even if it's just your family. It just takes a lot of weirdness out of Thanksgiving. Like, who the hell is that? Aunt what? Yeah, no thanks, Luke. I mean, again, like, I don't go to these McAllister family style events where there's like 50 people there and no one knows who anyone is. But I guess if you do that, like, what are you even doing there? Because you know what my thing about that is? Here's my hot take. If you're going to a Thanksgiving that would necessitate a name tag, you could also just not go and no one would actually notice you weren't there. If there are so many people at your Thanksgiving that some people who are there, you don't know who they are, then you probably don't even need to go. They don't need you there. Sam Sifton says, you're not going to change anyone's behavior or beliefs during a Thanksgiving meal, so don't try. Put an ashtray out on the porch for Uncle Steve and don't blink when Cousin Ellie opens a third bottle of wine. That said, let's not talk politics. I don't think that's a hot take at all. I think that's a pragmatic, sensible. It's like, yeah, exactly. If Uncle Steve is smoking and it's like he's taking it outside, fuck it. You know what I mean? It's not the time to be like, Steve, we need to talk about your smoking. It's much like coming out of the closet or announcing your divorce, but maybe even worse because you're like, who knows what Steve's going through right now. I mean, he came to Thanksgiving. That's all we asked, right? Unless you do Thanksgiving and you're like, we've made a tradition in our family, the Thanksgiving ambush, where it's like someone is going to be ambushed regarding their behavior in the last year. So hopefully you've made an ally of that cousin's girlfriend because you are going to need it. Becky Hughes is back and says, go ahead, talk politics. Becky Hughes is kind of a chaos person who speaks to Chaos Pete, but I think the thing about like, yeah, they're like, oh, politics, religion, and finances are like the big ones you don't talk about in polite company or whatever. But like, I don't even think it's just a politeness thing. To me, it's more like, yeah, I'm not really interested. You know what I mean? I don't want some fucking weird persons who I don't even know their take on politics. Like, I don't care. There's nothing about me that cares. Kia Damon says, I need you to manage your time better. I don't feel like Meemaw needs to be cooking and throwing down at 80-something years old. Please, Meemaw, sit down. But I think y'all forgot that people were cooking for 2 days up until this morning. If I wake up and you say you're starting the mac and cheese, you're about to boil noodles, you're about to grate cheese, I already know it's going to be a flop. Okay, so I guess this is like just do good time management or something. I mean, sure. You know, I have a little bit of a hot take, which is like if you're going to someone else's house for Thanksgiving, you have to sort of surrender dishes and like time and all that. You have to give it up because it's like you don't get to make the choice anymore. You know what I mean? It's like this podcast. Like I'm sure there are many other things that people would like me to talk about or say, and start your own fucking podcast. Have your own fucking Thanksgiving dinner then. And then you get to make all the decisions. Priya Krishna says, just eat at 7:30. Eat at a normal dinner hour and magically find yourself with 4 more hours to prep the meal, linger over a relaxed happy hour, and most importantly, enjoy your day off. Maybe. I think my fear, you would really have to manage this. That sounds chill, but what you'd actually have to do is be like, I need to set this up so that we've done all the other things besides Thanksgiving meal before 7:30, right? So that once the meal is over, everyone kind of gets the fuck out. Because if you eat at 7:30 and it takes an hour or an hour and a half, it's 9 o'clock. And I'm like, yeah, go home. You know what I mean? We did a Christmas party a couple of years ago. It was like a, fun drinky party. And it was like 2 hours and it ended at 8. And I was like, at 8 o'clock, everyone get the fuck out. And was very serious about it and enforced it. And it worked. It was great. It's, yeah, I don't know. So I don't know if that's more or less chill for most people. Just eat at 7:30. Here's the thing, though. I think if we're eating at 7:30, tell me to show up at 6 or 6:30. Don't tell me to be there at, 11. I don't want to be there for 8.5 hours. I don't want to be at your house long enough that I really should be eating 2 meals. Kim Severson. Do not make me deal with the flowers you decided to bring without a vase. Or the side dish you have to assemble in my kitchen before we eat, the ice cream you have to whip for your pie, or your cousin's food allergy, especially since I didn't invite her in the first place. Yeah, I mean, yeah. I think when you show up with something, you should always consider, like, is this like a thing? It's a little bit like if you're going to a kid's birthday party, unless you hate their parents, you don't buy them a drum set, right? Because you're like, oh, that's fucking really loud and annoying. You don't buy them that cat-shaped keyboard from Target that we all kind of are tempted by, and we're like, maybe I could start a Spotify career just making little ditties with this thing. You know what I mean? And I'll get virally famous and just make a passive income from dumb little songs from this keyboard. But you don't buy that for kids because kids don't need to have a career on Spotify. Rachel Antonoff. You will regret wearing anything with a waistband. I've learned this lesson countless times before, but then get excited about an outfit that involves tights. It must be some bizarre form of self-punishment, and I'll look into this with my therapist. The tights become annoying on the drive over, fully painful a few hours in, and eventually discarded in my purse by the end of the day. This year, I swear on all that is holy, I will wear a sack dress with no tights. Yeah, that's fine. I'm going to just speak to the ladies for a minute. Ladies, you don't need to wear things anymore that are not comfortable. You know what I mean? Like, maybe it's time for gender equality to start looking like, why don't we all just wear things that are appropriate for the tasks we're doing? Let me take this to my old workplace when I was working in the library. And for a very long time, our required dress code was I had to basically wear slacks, and I couldn't wear jeans. And over time, that finally changed. And I think what changed it was I was, from my perspective, was I spent a lot of time in that job doing things like mopping a bathroom and cleaning up messes and shelving books and pushing heavy book carts. And it's like, slacks really that's not really what they're for. But not only, it's not just that that's not what they're for. It's like, why am I dressing for a job that I don't have? And if you're going to Thanksgiving dinner in an outfit that's cute, that you know is not going to be comfortable, you're dressing for a meal that you're not about to have, Rachel. So I hope you will wear a sack dress with no tights. Girl power, girl boss, etc. Andy Baragani again. Candles are essential for the mood, but they must be unscented. Nothing ruins gravy like ode to pumpkin latte drifting over the table. Yeah, I mean, I definitely... scented candle to me is something that it's like, you know what? You should never inflict that upon anyone but your spouse. Your spouse has to tolerate it because we have no choice. And so it's like, well, I guess if that's what this person I married thinks smells like a good smell, I'll live with it. But when I go to someone else's house and they have a scented candle, it's always disgusting. And I'm like, if I get the chance, I always want to look at it and be like, what is this? And they're like, the label never says what I think it's going to, which is like, burning Dove soap factory. Garbage from a perfume factory washed up on the beach. Catherine Lewin says, you need a timeline and it needs to be handwritten. The result should be a detailed outline of everything you need to do from start, shopping, to finish, winning all the best Thanksgiving awards. I even like to include when I'm showering, but that's just me. Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm down. I don't know. I think maybe you just need to know yourself well enough to know if you need that. You know what I mean? Which most people don't. Most people think they're like good multitaskers, and most people think they're like efficient, and most people are not any of those things. It's like, yeah, maybe if you wrote down a list, if you thought it through before the thing happened, in the sober light of day, everything's calm. You're not standing in front of a box in your kitchen that's 500 degrees. Maybe you'd have a better outcome. You're not running on 7 hours sleep because you had to get up early to cram a bunch of stuff inside of other stuff and then put it in that box. Natasha Pikowicz says, you don't want to enter these athletic long meals having already eaten 6 ounces of cheese. It always bothers me when people put out a cheese board. It's just so easy to fill up on crackers and bread. That could be something with dessert or the dessert. Okay. I hate when people do that. They're like, put out a fruit plate for dessert. Fuck you. Okay? Not fuck you because it's like fruit. Well, yeah, because fruit sucks, but also I can eat an apple at home. That's not a dessert. Okay? Nobody sane considers just a sliced apple a dessert. Nobody. But when did we decide that cheese was a dessert? That's craziness. That is some New York Times bullshit. This is the most New York Times bullshit that I've seen so far. Cheese is a dessert? Are you mad, woman? I mean, like, I would be the first person who would try like a Twix that instead of caramel had nacho cheese inside. I would try it. I don't think it'd be good, but I would try it. I would try like a chocolate covered Cheeto. But without some kind of coating or frying or breading or infusion, I don't think we can call cheese a dessert. Andy Baragani. The playlist is as important as the mashed potatoes. I'm talking Sade, Fleetwood Mac, a little Mariah. Set the tone. Don't kill it with a random Spotify algorithm. As important as the mashed potatoes, Andy, that's crazy. Potatoes are delicious, and they're kind of a fucking lot to do, so you have to make them. I don't know, man. I'm also not a big, like, you've got a bunch of people in a room together. Do you need music? I mean, that takes us to Sam Sifton again. If you have more than 4 people at the table, there shouldn't be music playing during the meal. 100% agree. 100% agree. I'm about to be more cosmopolitan than you, New York Times. You ready? I took an international voyage to Japan. Something I noticed there was that the restaurants were a lot quieter. And something I also noticed there is that I don't think in any restaurant we ate in, there was music playing. Like that didn't seem to be a common thing. If there was, it was, very soft and, not overwhelming. And I could never identify the song. And like we went out to somewhere not too long after we got back, and it was like a pizza place, and we were on an outdoor patio, and the music was so loud. And I was like, why is this so loud? You know what I mean? Like, what is the point? And so then as you're passing through the restaurant inside, it's also loud, and everyone is shouting. And I'm like, I kind of understand the idea of like playing music in a not busy place or a, empty place to make it seem more lively. But playing music when there's like 3 different conversations happening just raises the volume on all those conversations. This is dumb. It's a terrible idea. Terrible. Next we have Eddie Huang. Thanksgiving is different when your team's playing. Once the football games are on, I'm smashing parlays. I'm up super early to prepare the meal, but that thing is on the table hot at the beginning of the first game. It's on everybody else after that. Yeah, I mean, that's fine. You know what? This goes with my previous, like, if you go to someone else's Thanksgiving, you know what I mean? They make the calls. And it's like, hey, I'm not going to complain if some guy's like, I served up an awesome Thanksgiving meal and now I'm watching football. I'm like, right on. I don't know what smashing parlays is. I don't know what parlays are or how to smash them. But that sounds fine. Kia Damon says, it doesn't make you a martyr to not accept help. Be okay with asking for and receiving it. I promise it won't make the food taste better if you told me you've been on your feet for 18 hours and you have not eaten. Yeah, I agree with that. I don't really think that's a hot take. You know what I mean? Also, if you're going to do that, if you choose to do that and you choose to turn down help, then don't complain about it. You know what I mean? That's just going to make me resent you for complaining about it and then be mad because you're complaining about it rather than I think what you're trying to get is me to, oh, what a hero. You know what I mean? Like, fuck off. Tanya Sachinsky says, Thanksgiving is the best possible time to learn a new card game. Oh, Christ. Grab a deck, scrap the jokers, pick a card, don't look, and stick it on your forehead. Pick a category, domestic beers, rom-coms, Thanksgiving sides. Everyone else must get you to guess the card rank by naming an item in that category that think matches how you would rate it. Good editing. A 2 means you hate it, an 8 is somewhere in the middle, an ace means you're obsessed with it, so on. Once everyone gives it a shot, you guess the card. If you get it right, everyone else has to drink, and if you're wrong, bottoms up. I mean, that's a fun game. To learn a new game like that, sure. You know what I mean? To learn a game that's fun. But here, okay. This touches on a sore point of mine. Speaking of touching sore points, our other sponsor, MeUndies. No, just kidding. I don't want to learn a game. Now, that's an easy game. Like, that was explained to me in a paragraph that had a word missing, and it still makes sense, and I understand it, and, it's all good. But I don't want to learn a game. This is the thing about games for me. I don't mind playing games. I mostly enjoy most games. I fucking hate learning games. Like, I hate learning how to play them. I hate learning the rules. I hate learning the like, okay, well, when this happens, then you're in an A12-4 scenario and you've got, and I'm like, fuck off. Fuck off with that shit. Oh, let's see. Becky Hughes says, don't make me learn a new game. Well, both of these can't be hot takes because they're the opposite, New York Times. One has to be a hot take and the other cannot be one. I'm with Becky Hughes on this, though. I don't think that's a hot take. So in a way, I'm not with her, but I'm with her. Natasha Pikowicz says, this should be the least formal scenario you can imagine. I think there's something that gets unfun when it's this kind of forced ritual of getting dressed up or you must sit in a certain place. Yeah. I don't think that's a hot take whatsoever either, right? Like, show up in sweatpants is fine. Like, I don't know. Who in 2025 is like, oh, I better put on my suit and tie. Maybe I should do that for Thanksgiving this year, though. Just show up with a tie on and just be like, oh, I see. I guess I thought we were going to, I don't know, be more respectful of each other. Ella Quittner says, it's important to get a little bit high between dinner and dessert. Self-explanatory. I don't like being high, but I think if everyone else wanted to be high, that would be fine with me. You know what I mean? Yeah. If everybody else was just a little lazy and goofy between dinner and dessert and then probably wanted to go to bed very early, I'm 100% okay with that. Stacy Mei-Yen Fong says marshmallows should not be on vegetables. Yeah, I'm not into that shit. I don't know what I've never honestly eaten a like marshmallow on sweet potato dish. I think the only thing that I really think marshmallows belong on is like chocolate and graham cracker. And maybe in a hot cocoa. You know what I mean? Or a bowl of Lucky Charms. But I don't even know what those are. I don't know if those are marshmallows so much as they're more like desert mallows. Quite dry, quite crunchy. Maybe they should make those kind of marshmallows for sweet potatoes. Luke Fortney says, hot sauce should be on everything. Everything that gravy or cranberry sauce can go on, hot sauce is good for. You need the acidity. It allows you to not eat salad? What? The variety of hot sauce, of course, matters. Something ultra vinegary like Crystal. Oh, fuck off. I do not like vinegary hot sauce, sir. I do think, though, maybe another hot take from me is like, if you make turkey, feel free to have some kind of sauce at the table. You know what I mean? It shouldn't be an insult if someone wants to bust out like a barbecue sauce or a ketchup or something. Like, why is that insulting? Turkey doesn't taste like very much, guys. Just live with it. It's fine. It's fine. If I made steak for everyone and then someone got out steak sauce because they're like, oh, I like steak sauce, I'd be like, yeah, it's fine. I want them to eat something that tastes good to them and to enjoy it, not to be like, I will decide what the flavors will be inside your mouth. Sounds very threatening. Kia Diamond says, stuffing and dressing, please get that shit away from me. I do love a panzanella, and if my bun gets a little wet at Five Guys, sure, but dressing, blah. I don't know. That's just a personal taste issue, right? That's not really a hot take. I mean, like, you could just not eat it. That's the thing, I guess, like, marshmallows on vegetables. It's like, I mean, go for it, but I'm not eating that shit. But as long as you're fine with me not eating that shit, then make whatever you can make whatever potions you want. That's what we used to call it when we were kids, and we would just put a bunch of stuff in the blender. We're making potions. So yeah, make a potion. Go for it. I don't care. Tanya Bush says, stuffing should be an everyday carb, understood in the same breath as baguette, buttered rice, or polenta. My mother sends me the freeze-dried supermarket kind, which comes together with hot water and butter in less than a minute. I eat it all the time. It's great with an over-easy egg for breakfast or spooned straight from a mug. I might actually try stuffing in like a scrambled egg, like in an omelet. Actually sounds pretty good. That might work. Vaughn Vreeland says stuffing is better cold from the fridge at 2 a.m. on Friday. 2 a.m. on Friday. What is Vaughn Vreeland up to? He's Black Friday sailing, and then he comes home, stumbles in. It's like he stumbles into his efficiency motel that he's living in. Ella Quittner says, it's important to cook stuffing inside the bird. I know this presents risks, but in life we do many things that could be bad for us because they're intensely pleasurable, like drugs and MILF manner. Editor's note, we do not recommend any of this. Is it dangerous to cook stuffing inside the bird? This is the first time hearing that this is a dangerous proposition. I don't understand what's so like hard about I mean, I'm sure there's more to it than I understand, but it's like, well, look, guys, it's 2025. You can buy a digital thermometer that instantly tells you the temperature of something that you can poke into the thing, and then you know how hot the thing is. And if you know it's a certain hotness, then everything's cool. This is not complicated. There should be at least 2 forms of potatoes, says Nikita Richardson. Preferably scalloped and mashed. The people want potatoes. This is correct. This is a correct take, not a hot take. I can do 2 potato dishes at Thanksgiving. You know what I mean? You know what? Like, replace just a plain roll with a potato. I think that's for the best. Zanab Issa says, the sides are the meal. Turkey will only ever be so good, so manage your expectations and put your effort in the right place. Sure. Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think, like, would I be more disappointed? You know what? This is probably correct, because I would be more disappointed if all the sides were bad and the turkey was amazing, as opposed to the opposite. If the turkey was not good, but the sides were all amazing, I think I'd be fine with that. You know what I mean? I'd just be like, okay. Hey, you know, sometimes things work out. Not much of a hot take, though. You know what I mean? It's like getting chicken at Popeyes or something, and it's like, sides are the meal, baby. We all know it. Tahal Rao says, don't rewrite the menu. Don't rewrite the menu. I don't know if that's how this person talks. It's so impressive when a cook makes all the same things as they did last year, and every year they make those dishes incrementally better. I'm not impressed by that, but like, that's fine. I do believe in like the idea of, you know, having occasionally hosted a dinner for like some parents or something. I think it's smart to not make a new thing for that. Make something that you know how to make, you know what I mean? And that you know how long it takes and you know what it's going to be like. And if it's going badly, you know, as opposed to making something that you're like, I have no idea how this is going. I don't know if this is correct. I'm very much at sea, and I guess we'll just find out when it hits the table if it's edible or horrible. Eric Kim says, pick at least 1 or 2 new dishes to tackle. Everyone says don't attempt a new recipe on such an important holiday, but if you're someone who truly enjoys the cooking part of a cooking holiday, do this for yourself. It keeps things fresh, and you never know what might make it into your family's Thanksgiving repertoire. In mine, it's Swedish meatballs and a pecan kale salad. That's how traditions are formed. I say, try it for yourself. And if it's not shit, then add it to Thanksgiving. But I think doing something for the first time, I mean, like, Thanksgiving, if you enjoy the cooking, that's fine. But I don't know, man. Getting all experimenty and shit. But this is coming from someone who does not enjoy cooking. I'm just like, it's just an unfortunate reality that I need to do it to power my dumb body through another day. You know what I mean? I have to consume food, and cooking it myself is the most economical way to create food that I can consume. So that's what I'll do. But it's not like fun for me. I'm not like, yeah, this is amazing. I'm like, fine. Paula Velez says, a lot of people will die on the hill that everything needs to be made from scratch. Why would you do that? In this economy, the most valuable currency is time. 100%. Fuck that. I mean, like, yeah, we bought bread. We bought rolls. Because it's like, why? You know what I mean? Sure, everyone loves the smell of fresh baked bread. But it's like, there will be other times to make bread. Or like, you don't have to buy ears of corn and cut the corn off the ears of corn. You know what I mean? Just get frozen corn and season it. Just like, I don't know. You don't have to make everything from scratch. That's crazy. And like, whoever says that, if someone came to my Thanksgiving and was like, is this all from scratch? And I was like, no, this isn't. And they're like, oh, okay. And I'd be like, well, you don't have to eat it, fucker. You know what I mean? Oh, I'm sorry. Did you build the car that you drove here in today? Oh, okay. Did you brew the beer that you're drinking right now? No? Weird. Tanya Shachinsky. The best bread for stuffing is challah, and anyone who says otherwise hates the roof of their mouth. And while we're at it, make the challah from scratch. Oh, make it from scratch? Are you crazy? Nikita Richardson. Gravy should be made with drippings, not from a sauce packet. Also, your gravy is probably undersalted. Drippings. What an appealing sounding name. I always think this about any dish that is meat followed by the shape it's in. Meatball, meatloaf, like a meatball. It's like, that just, you know what I mean? Oh, let's have meat cubes. Let's have meat rectangles. No. Oh, a hamburger? Oh, you mean a meat disc? No, thank you. PETA, call me. I've got ideas for you. Melissa Clark says the best turkey is a duck. Sure. For who knows? I've never eaten a duck, or I've never eaten duck or a duck. I don't know how you would even say that. But the best turkey is a duck. I don't even know if you can buy duck at like the grocery stores that I go to. That seems like something that you would only get at a grocery store, like in, a fancy part of LA where all the chefs go or something. It's like some secret underground warehouse, or like from the movie Pig. That would be the only way you could actually buy duck. Allie Slagle says the best turkey is 2 chickens. More manageable to fit in your fridge, to hoist from the oven and to carve. And once they're artfully arranged on a platter, will anyone really detect the difference? Well, maybe yes, because the meat will be juicier. Yeah, I mean, I think I'd be hard-pressed to tell the difference between chicken and turkey if it was like prepared in such a way that it was visually similar. Maybe I could, but I don't know, man. Like if I went and I got a sandwich somewhere and it was chicken instead of turkey, sliced deli style, I don't think I would know the difference. Chicken does seem easier to manage and like easier to prepare in different ways or something, or like you would know what the hell you were doing. Allie Slagle's onto something here. Tanya Shachinsky says the only respectable way to prepare a turkey is to deep fry it. Common sense is the main ingredient, and the water displacement method is your friend. Embrace both, and when your oven unexpectedly breaks during the parade, you'll be better for it. I speak from experience. I mean, I've never had a deep fried turkey. I can't really say much about it. I don't know. Maybe? It seems like a big to-do, but I will say that it does provide us the yearly entertainment advantage of many videos of people who brimmed the vessel they're about to lower a turkey into and then start their entire front yard on fire. Stacy Mayyen Fong says, a turkey is better as a sandwich. Sure, that sounds fine. I mean, as opposed to what? A slab? Yeah, I mean, what isn't better as a sandwich? You know what I mean? I feel like anything that you make, and then it's like, what if it was a sandwich? And it's like the whole way that like half of food culture in America started. What if it was this, but a sandwich? John Caramanica says, your turkey can be a lasagna, or like a huge cassoulet. It does not matter what the centerpiece is so long as you enjoy it, and its preparation does not engender an afternoon's worth of anxiety. I've seen too much sweat expended in the name of cooking a fickle, dry bird to perfection in an erratic oven to think that there's not a better way. In this, as in all things, joy should trump tradition. I agree with that. I know a lot of people are like stuck on the turkey, and it's like, it doesn't feel like Thanksgiving if we have whatever, but I'm very much like hey man, I would be down with pizza Thanksgiving. I would be down with, let's just get drive-through from like a bunch of different places and combine it all together into a feast that's not warm anymore by the time we get it home. But, we'll figure it out. Eddie Huang says, if you can't cook, just order from your neighborhood barbecue place. There's no shame in that. That's actually an act of self-awareness. Though once I saw somebody pull out a bag of Hormel ribs they bought, pre-marinated, maybe even pre-cooked. That's diabolical. It's not right. I mean, yeah. I would be fine with that, especially if they can't cook. You know what I mean? If I went to someone's house and they're like, oh yeah, we just bought food, I'd be like, fucking A. These hot takes really are wildly sensible things and then just stupid things. Becky Hughes says white meat is better. And yeah, baby, it's dry. That's what gravy is for. I feel like Becky Hughes I disagree with, but at least understood the assignment here of what a hot take is. You know what I mean? She's like, you know how I like my turkey? Dry, baby. You're like, okay. That's weird. Weird statement, but she's behind it. Priya Krishna says don't serve meat at all. It'll make your life 10 times easier and dinner will be as delicious, maybe more. 10 times easier, Priya Krishna? 10 times. I don't know if it's going to be 10 times easier. It's not going to be 10 times easier for me. I've had so many failures with tofu over the last couple months. It's like unreal. I thought I would be able to do it. I was like, how hard could this be? You know what I mean? And I'm like, well, turns out you can't cook it like it's a meat. You can't cook it like it's a vegetable. So I'm like, what do I cook it like a? Catherine Lewin says, stop with the spatchcocking. Does spatchcocking give you the most technically perfect turkey meat? Probably, but it will also give you a flat bird. What is the fun in a flat bird? Yeah, sure. There's one thing I've been vehemently against, which everyone knows. Spatchcocking. It's a word that I've used before, ever in my life. Andy Baragani says carving at the table is pure pageantry. The drama, the knives, the oohs and ahs, all for lukewarm slices of breast meat. Do it in the kitchen where you can actually make it neat, then bring out a platter that looks intentional. Yeah, I think it's funny that like we do that every year. When I've had Thanksgiving with family, it's like, okay, you're gonna slice the turkey, but no one knows who's gonna slice the turkey until it's time. And like, I don't know how to slice a turkey. I've done it in my life like twice, 2 to 5 times total. I don't know what I'm doing. And I'm like, hey, you know what? Here's my hot take. Whoever's going to slice the turkey, let them know beforehand. Make that person's one job. And then they can watch a 5-minute YouTube tutorial. Write down maybe the steps in order. If I like watch a tutorial, if I, thought about it, I could probably figure it out and be like, oh, okay, that makes sense. But I'm not going to just know off the dome, as they say. Ella Quittner says, it's really not about the food. Sorry, if it was about the food, we would have evolved to be cooking something more exciting than turkey, the driest possible bird, like porchetta. It's not about the food. That sounds like something they would say at the end of like a Thanksgiving special. Like, it's not really about the food, it's about family. Or I guess at the end of a Fast and Furious movie. Tanya Bush says, tiramisu is a better Thanksgiving dessert than pecan pie. Pecan pie is far too sweet, a one-note, often sludgy mess of corn syrup and sugar that no amount of salt or whip can rescue. After a feast, I prefer something light and easily portionable. Tiramisu is airy, easy to make in advance, spoonable, and has just enough caffeine to combat the post-turkey slump. Yeah, I mean, I'm just not a big pie guy, mostly because I don't like hot fruit. But yeah, I also don't like a sludge, a solange that, you're supposed to eat. I'm not into that. Anything that's like bordering on being a gelatinous baby food kind of thing. No thanks. Stacy Mayyen Fong says Thanksgiving is the only appropriate time of year to eat pecan pie, really, which I guess implies that you should eat it. You know what I like that's like a pecan pie, I think, is a nice praline. This has been Grandpa's Nut Preference Corner. Natasha Pikowicz says, I probably shouldn't say this because I'm a pastry chef, but dessert at Thanksgiving is done all wrong. I take inspiration from big Chinese banquet style eating. Dessert might be a fruit plate. Oh, here we go. A fruit plate or a square of coconut jello. But what they all have in common is that they're refreshing, light desserts that provide relief. You can still excite the senses with a dramatic fruit plate. God damn it. This is the same person who was like, cheese is a dessert. Figure a fruit plate. A fruit plate. If you want to invite me to Thanksgiving and have me break my own rule that I've established here, which is you want me to just like flip the table over and be pissed off and be completely justified, bring out a fruit plate. You know what you could bring out instead of a fruit plate? Nothing. I would rather the person making the dinner was like, I've prepared nothing. I have not prepared a dessert because I just made all this fucking food. And I'd be like, yeah, that's reasonable. A fruit plate. It's not even a convenient shape to just like throw in the garbage. Von Vreeland, if someone wants to have pumpkin pie on the table, they better bring it because I'm not making it. No requests, only results. Yeah, I mean, I think if you show up to a Thanksgiving and there's something you don't like, shut the fuck up. If there's something missing that you like, shut the fuck up. You know what I mean? Or if you must have, if you're like, I must have cornbread. Ask the person if there will be cornbread. If they say no, be like, can I bring cornbread? I would love to. I love eating it. I think it's a delicious food. Let's do it. Kim Severson says, please have something special for your sober guests that is not Martinelli's or La Croix. We will not have besmirchment of the good name of the people at Martinelli's, maker of sparkling cider that's like one thing that kids can drink that's fun. I've never really had La Croix. I don't know anything about it, but two non-booze items seems pretty good to me. Two non-water, non-booze things seems okay, right? Like, what do you want to have that's special other than that? Like some kind of mocktail or something? How many things would I have for drinky guests? Like beer and wine seems to be kind of the standard, right? I don't know, Kim. I don't know. I want to be sensitive to sober guests. I'm usually a sober guest at Thanksgiving myself. And you know what I drink? Tap water. Melissa Clark, you must have chocolate for dessert. Pumpkin spice is so over. Fuck you. This comes from a guy who's been eating pumpkin spice bagels and has one sleeve of them left in the freezer. Fuck you. Eddie Huang says the pies really make the meal. It brings it all together. Sure, if you say so. I don't know, man. Multiple pies. How many pies do you need in your life? You know what I mean? I don't know. I'm kind of like, put some chocolate pudding in a fucking pie, a graham cracker crust pie shell, throw some Cool Whip on top, and just fucking be done with it. You know what I mean? We don't need to make it that complicated. Von Vreeland says pie is usually not that good and really underbaked 95% of the time. 95, Von Vreeland, really? 95. So Vaughn looks like, I don't know, he's probably 30. How many pies have you had in your life? I certainly have not tasted 100 pies in my life. And so only 5 of them are good. If that was the case, I would give up on pie entirely for sure. Be the person who brings the Magnum. It looks like an instant party because it is. Is the Magnum capital M? Is that like a champagne or is that a ice cream bar? These are all dessert things here at the end. I think we're talking about the dessert thing, but I don't know. Don't actually know what Catherine's advising me to do here. Need context. Paolo Velez says, make a panna cotta. Don't bake a pie. Bring something that's fun and exciting and new. Bring a chocolate cake. Well, at first you said panna cotta and then you said a chocolate cake. Telling me too many different things. I don't know. I just say like, bring some Pez. Fuck it. You know what I mean? Everyone gets their own dispenser. It's a little activity. Then you eat this hard, shitty Pez. Maybe it makes people appreciate the meal more. You know what I mean? The thought and effort that went into the meal. It's like, well, this is going to be, it's your classic rising action arc from fiction. You have your rising action, your climax, and then your denouement. Zanab Issa says, an average pie beats a good turkey. Average pie beats a good turkey. I don't know. Sure. No. It's not even enough of a take for me to get involved. Genevieve Coe says, bake so many pies that you have up to 1 pie per person. There's never been too many pies. That's insane. That's a crazy. Who even has enough cookware to make that many pies? You know what I mean? What is this person doing? This is the craziness of the New York Times, like cooking shit, where it's like, well, you'd simply go into your industrial kitchen and fire up all of your ovens. Stacy Mei Yin Fong says, make 1 pie and save it for the next day. Pie is better the day after because you're not forcing it down. Why? Why would you do that? I don't make things for the next day for other people. Get the fuck out. Kim Severson says, always make someone else bring the pies. I agree with that. I think dessert is like the perfect thing to make someone else do. And I would say my hot take is like, assign your friend to do it who's not awesome at cooking. And it makes you look better. But assign it to your Pez friend. Von Vreeland, final thing. If you make a picture of Manhattans, please make sure to kitty-proof all the sharp corners in the common areas of your home. This is not as much a hot take as it is advice from someone who learned it the hard way. Yeah. You know what? If you're going to get all your guests shwasted, be prepared. Be prepared. That would be my advice of like, as far as drinky stuff is like, you know, just before you get people drunk, you need to know what kind of drunk they are. You know what I mean? If they're a good time Charlie and you're not going to create any conflict or whatever, we're not going to be bringing up old wounds or something. Yeah, go for it. But like, if they, you know, if you're not sure, I don't know, a more limited drink amount. And I don't mean like, you know, you make them get a wristband and then you tear off tickets or something. You give them drink tickets. Maybe that's what people should do, though, if you do have those problem friends. You're like, I'm instituting a drink ticket system. Like, fuck you. That's what's happening. And then, yeah, you give them drink tickets and you're like, I can't help but notice that you're out of drink tickets. So you're done. You are done, my friend. See you later. All right, that's it. We did it. Showed the New York Times what's what. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. I hope you enjoy Thanksgiving. If you don't, like, yeah, that's fine. You know what I mean? No press. Maybe that's my ultimate hot take, which is, hey, you know what? If you don't enjoy it, that's fine. Many of us don't. Just it's kind of a faff, a to-do, a to-thing. But you know what would make it more enjoyable? Your subscription to Audible. Audible's got a fine selection of audiobooks, including many books that, you know, who's got the time? What are you going to read, a Murakami IQ 84? That fucking thing's like 800 pages long. It's better than my entire